Hello, you're very welcome to the Reinventing Success sessions, and I'm delighted today to be bringing you my very special guest, Glynnis Trinder. Glynnis is an Intuitive Mindset Coach and Hypnotherapist, and she's going to be telling us about her personal journey to reinventing her success. And in this series, I'm going to be helping leaders like you to be able to take their life and their business to the next level and to reinvent your very own version of success so you can have your dream life. So Glynnis, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Lovely to be here. Very excited.
Great. Now Glynnis, can I just get you to start off with, just to go back in time? I would love you to go back 3 years, approximately 3 years time, and give us a little snapshot about how your life looked at that time.
Okay. Well, 3 years actually was I felt 3 years ago I was broke. I was an artist. I was bored painting. I felt that I had no idea where my next money was going to come from. I got stuck in the collective mindset of the recession and nobody is buying paintings. And I started painting to suit people, and I actually just had no joy painting anymore. But what I had been doing prior to that was I was on this big spiritual journey of reinvention, I suppose, already for the past maybe 6 or 7 years before that. And I had become really interested in the law of attraction, in mindset and how the mind works. And I had learned and read and done so many programs, but all I really wanted to do 3 years ago was read and learn and talk about this. I was also playing with, I am very intuitive, and I, gave intuitive card readings to my friends, and that's what I wanted to do, but I was painting to make money. So that 3 years ago, I just felt completely stuck. I could not see how I was going to make money or how it was possible for me to, even though I knew because I'd learned so much from the law of attraction, I knew that anything that I wanted was possible. Except at that stage, I thought that what I should have been doing was making money from my paintings. I thought that I should be able to manifest, great wealth or lots of buyers for my paintings. Except what I hadn't really, I suppose, come to terms with was the fact that I didn't really love painting anymore.
Yeah. So how did it feel? How did it feel to be to have a particular role like that? You're wearing the artist hat. You're also mother, your wife, friend. You've got all these other roles. How did it feel at that time to be trying to keep that hat firmly on your head and knowing that it wasn't what you were most passionate about?
I just got stuck in this role, I suppose. And even now people ask me when they hear that I'm not doing that anymore, aren't you painting? And people are very disappointed that I'm not painting. And I will paint again, but I just did not want to. I was completely, I just felt I was stereotyped in that role, and I just felt stuck because I didn't want to do it. I know I was painting about 3 years ago for an exhibition, and I was applying to have exhibitions in various other places. I was living in Kilkenny at the time, and I had applied to put my paintings somewhere in this Kilkenny Arts Festival. And I just didn't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. I didn't have any push behind me for it. I was at this stage painting what I felt people wanted, which really is not what an artist does. An artist has to paint what they want to paint themselves. And I felt I just wanted to make money from it, and it wasn't working. So I was completely stuck. Completely.
And from what you know now around what you've learned about business over the last few years, can you see where the business model was possibly a little bit flawed or a little bit stuck in the way that, as an artist, you were trying to sell your paintings and sell your work? Do you feel like,
yes,
there's a big
I mean, really, what I absolutely huge difference, because what I'm doing now, I absolutely love doing, and it doesn't even feel like work. In fact, I almost feel some days, when I'm charging for it, that was initially really hard at the beginning, because I basically swapped my what would have been my career, my painting, for my hobby, and my hobby became my job. And it was strange at the beginning, even accepting money for that, because this is what I always did. I always automatically coached people. If I felt somebody was down, if I just knew instinctively what they needed to do, and I loved doing readings with them and seeing where they were stuck and moving them on. But I wouldn't have thought 3 years ago that could have become my business. I think
So
that
can we
probably
fast forward? So can we fast forward to now? And if I was to ask you for a snapshot of your life now, how does it look? Tell us how.
completely, utterly different. I know now, first of all, I love what I'm doing. I absolutely love what I'm doing. I feel that my main purpose in life is to help people, and I've always been that helper, or trying to sort out people's problems before, but now I'm doing it and I'm getting paid to do it. I love doing it, and I've learned so many skills over the last 2 years that I know I can see people having results, and it's just completely different. Absolutely everything has changed. And I suppose really it all started changing when I took on a really good business coach, Sarah Leather.
I wonder who she is.
I really would not have. I know when I came to you as a student first, I never would have thought. I was trying to make money. I wanted you to show me how to make money out of doing my art. By the end of our first day, I came out with a completely different business plan, and I realized that, why would I do that? This is what I love doing, and this is what I need to make my dream, my life out of. And everything has changed.
Because before you were trying to live for what everybody else thought you should be doing. But I think in some way, I think we all have to take responsibility for where we get to in life. And in some way, that was you putting that mindset on yourself about what you should be doing and the way that you should be working in the world.
Yes, and really what I teach people now is that, the only thing between you now and where you absolutely want to be are your limiting beliefs. And I could see, that your limiting beliefs are all that stops you. If you absolutely believe something to be true, you can make that happen. You have to want it first, but then you need to believe it. But I had taken on beliefs that weren't even mine to start with. And as a child, it would have appeared that was what I was best at, and that was basically what I was told. The only thing I was good at was painting, and I believed that. But there were so many other beliefs that I just took on board, but I took them on. So I am ultimately responsible for creating my life. And actually, everybody needs to get to that stage to realize, first off, that wherever they are in life, that they are responsible, that they're there because of their past thoughts, emotions, feelings, and mainly beliefs. But the really, really good news is you can change a belief. You have to decide what belief is blocking you, and then you change that belief. And that's what I do now.
Can you share with us some of your beliefs that, one I've sort of found sort of screaming out for you was that making money was hard when you're an artist, that it was hard to make money. Would that be one that you've had to work on?
Yeah.
Can you think of any other ones that you've had to?
Absolutely. And that, and also an offset of that was that artists don't make money until they've died, basically, that, and money. I also had beliefs around being poor or not having a lot of money was in some way honorable, or that it wasn't honorable to make a lot of money. That's a huge one, and that's one that an awful lot of people have. And I have even come across, since I am making money doing what I love doing now, that I've noticed people that are looking at me and kind of, I'm getting some of that belief shining back on me again. but how can you charge that much for, but they don't realize the work, the time that goes into it. But actually, it's actually okay to charge what you're worth. And I've learned that myself. It's okay to stand over that. And when you're helping people make huge life-changing changes, you know, it is right. It's okay to make money doing what you love doing.
Absolutely.
So that was
Huge. That's been a massive shift for you. And I think it's a case of, you know, if you look at the lifetime value that you're facilitating for somebody, if they were to say somebody, I mean, I know one of your areas of specialty is weight loss. I mean, how much could somebody, if they didn't solve the problem now with you, how much could they potentially spend on that over the next, how much have they spent in the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years? How much may they spend on trying to solve that? But you're not just solving the weight loss problem, you're actually solving the deep inner things that are not working within them. So I've been blessed.
That's where everything is.
Yeah, it is.
That's what you have to do, because weight gain isn't about what you eat. It's about your mindset. Mm-hmm. And people hold on to excess weight for a reason. Once you find that reason, and you can look at it, completely change that around. And that is so powerful. It's so empowering for somebody to realize why they were holding onto weight, and it actually can be very easily released. Now with weight loss, you know, I would probably do about 3 sessions with somebody. So I'm working on starting a program for weight loss alone. And that I'm really excited about, because I know that, you know, I want to do something. There will be maybe 3 one-to-one sessions, but a lot of online calls and things. It's more than food, but actually people spend so much on, you know, eating a variety of dangerous foods that actually they don't realize are actually putting weight on them, because anything that is labeled low fat or has ingredients in it that you don't recognize because they have to be made in a plant, or they're not food. And it's all about eating pure, real food. But the mindset is the shift that you have to get to.
You can help people to sort of reinvent their mindset around not just the way they think about food, but about the choices they make then around food. Because I think it's so easy for us to be conditioned around how we should and shouldn't be eating, so don't get me started on the food pyramid at school and all that kind of stuff. Mm. And and what are some other areas that you are getting some amazing results in?
What I've seen a lot coming up is anxiety is a huge issue amongst young people, young adults. There is a really big issue with young adults and meeting people and dating and confidence issues. But I'm getting a lot of really good results with anxieties and, you know, just anxieties and almost feeling ill because they're so anxious, you know, panic attacks and all of that. So along with letting go of things like weight and addictions, I think anxieties would be my next what I would see most. And then what I love doing is teaching people how to manifest what they do want, you know, how to get from being stuck. I mean, 3 years ago, I was completely anxious. I lived in fear. Every time a letter came into the post, I lived in fear of whether we'd be able to pay this or not. You know, I just was completely anxious. Money was a big anxiety to me, but people have different anxieties. And when you're anxious about anything, you know, you're blocking that flow, that universal flow. You need to be able to manifest freely. And basically, when you don't see something turning up, whether that is a special guy in your life, whether it is perfect health or money and success, whatever it is, you're blocking it because you are forcing something against that. So that's where I use hypnosis to do a regression to find the root cause, and then we do I make a cure audio to be listened to for 3-4 weeks maybe. And beliefs can be changed. Absolutely, you can change
It
beliefs.
always comes back to that, does it? Always comes back to that fundamental belief that somebody made when they were quite young.
Yeah, we have core beliefs that have started from a very young age. We've taken on beliefs from society, from parents, from teachers, from friends, and general, all the time we're taking on beliefs. But in fact, a lot of people think that thoughts form your reality. Thoughts are just things. Thoughts can float by. You can look at a thought, not become attached to a thought. But if you think that thought too much, that can become a belief. And it's the belief that actually forms your reality. You make decisions because of your beliefs, and that is where people are stuck. But actually, I just love when people find that, when we find under a hypnosis session that belief that is keeping them stuck, because it's so easy then to turn it around. The other thing actually that I'm finding a huge amount, and I know you do this as well, is people feeling that they're not enough. And that is probably the root cause of so many conditions or psychological problems or fears or anxieties. Just people thinking that they're either not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, tall enough, thin enough, whatever it is, there's always that enough feeling. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds wonderful. And you mentioned now in your hypnotherapy that you do regression work. Can you just say a couple of things about that? Because our listeners may not be aware of what that is.
Yes, well, I trained...
Some people think that hypnosis is some big scary thing if they've watched too much stage hypnotherapy or something. I know it's very, very different.
Yeah, it is, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I trained with Marissa Peer, and she has a fantastic method of hypnotherapy. It's very unique to a lot of other hypnotherapists, and the regression is really gentle. Now, I have to say before I say anything else, I have found more people afraid. I live in Ireland, and there's an awful lot of Irish people are nervous and fearful about hypnosis, and they think that in some way I'm going to take over their mind or I'm going to be in control, which is not the case. They also think that they're not going to remember anything and that something seedy might happen, but in fact you remember everything. And most people that have that image, their image is brought to them because of those very stage hypnotherapists they're not hypnotherapists, they're hypnotists. But it's a bit like, I would use the analogy of you could say a surgeon, a plastic surgeon. You can have a plastic surgeon who's trained and is working in LA and doing some show, making somebody beautiful. That is one form of, he's still going to be a plastic surgeon doing his work. Or you can have a plastic surgeon who is, trained exactly the same way and is helping people feel better about themselves, maybe helping people who have been, severely upset through some sort of trauma or damage physically. They're both doing the same thing, but they have different ways of doing it. So I feel that when I see hypnotists on stage, it has just given a whole different, seedier light to the whole hypnotherapy image. But basically, you always remember, you never forget that person who's running around the stage looking for his belly button. They know they're doing that. They're primed to come up because they're the people that love to do that kind of thing. But you always, especially with the regression, it really is just, hypnosis is like a sleep of the nervous system. So it means that it's like a deep meditation where your conscious mind is stop asking those questions. The thinking part of your mind just quietens, and you go from that level of mind down to the alpha level of mind, which is really, really gentle. You are basically getting in touch with your subconscious mind. And in the regression, you ask your subconscious mind the questions, or the hypnotherapist, I would ask the client's subconscious mind various questions about what we want to come up with. And under that gentle state, the person just remembers various scenes. As you regress, you might decide, talk about going back. And the person will always go back to a scene, a particular scene. If they may see it, they may just feel it, they may just want to talk about something. And that is what has been stored in your subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is actually stores everything, every experience, every, good feeling, but, difficult feeling, and things that we weren't able to work out as children, things that we felt that humiliated us, frightened us, any of those really negative emotions we would have stored or buried and glossed over and we weren't able to deal with them at the time. But when in a regression, you don't go back and relive something. You're going back and you're just reviewing it, and you're in that really relaxed state of mind, and you're just looking at the scene. It may bring up sadness, it may bring up tears, it may not. Quite often people just are very, very calm looking at it. But when they see what is at, the back of why they're holding on to weight, for instance, or why they wake up anxious in the middle of the night and they don't know why, or why somebody may not be able to speak to a girl or ask a girl out because they go back to a scene, when they were 13, where they were humiliated by some sassy, that once they see that, you can then completely talk gently to that part of your mind, and that makes me in a really good position to be able to make an absolutely powerful cure audio.
No, that sounds wonderful, Glynnis. And I know I've had the pleasure of experiencing it, and I can testament that it's, it is like a very deep relaxation state. It really is lovely. And what's really wonderful is just watching the excitement when you're talking about the work you're doing now compared to just a few minutes ago when you were talking about having to paint for a gallery and the heaviness that you had around there. Now the excitement and the power that you have in you you are still the same person you were a few years ago. And that's what I love to talk about reinvention, is that you're the same person, but it's like this beautiful masterpiece of a sculpture that all the bits have been chipped away, rather than an artist having to make that sculpture. It's just like the excess has come away, and you were there as the person that you always were, but it was kind of like trapped inside you. And I think you've done so well to seek the help, to get the support, to do the training, to do all of that so that you can do this work, because I feel like it's work that you can't not do. Do you feel that?
Absolutely.
What you're here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew there was more. I always knew there was more. But as I allowed it in, and really, I think originally I would have thought, I can't do this. I can't take on a coach. I can't afford that. That was my initial reaction. But really, when I went with my gut instinct, which just said, do this. And I didn't know where the money was going to come from. But I asked a different question. I asked the universe, where is this money going to come from? And it showed me, and I've always done that since. And, people laugh at me and they say, oh yeah, you're going to manifest that. And I do, because when you have that trust and you just know that you want to do something. Actually, I heard somebody, I think it was Mike Dooley, talking about successful people. And successful people make their minds up quickly and they stick to it. And people that aren't successful, they keep them. I might do that. I will do that. I don't know. And then they put it off.
And then a decade or two has passed, and you still.
And then they say, I should have done that. So you just go with that first initial instinct. And there may be a time when you feel, what have I done? But that's just part of your mind. Yeah, that's part of it. But
and I'd really say, if you don't get that, you haven't stretched yourself enough.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm not talking about going and, not being able to eat or not being able to, do the important things. But so if I was to ask you, Glynnis, what would be some reinventing success tips that you could give to others? If others could really recognise that being a job, no matter what it looks like, whether it's an office job, whether it's something that is somebody else's dream of an ideal job, but it's just not yours. And you know there's a lot more there for you. What would you say? What tips would you give somebody when they know that there's a different life for them there?
I would say, first of all, their number one thing that they need to do is to spend time daily doing something they love. Just whatever it is that they love doing, go to that job, continue with that work, but spend more time daily doing what you love, and being very inquisitive and open and asking the questions, how can I do more of this? And also the next and most important, I love this, is to have your big goal, to decide, once you start doing what you love doing, make a big goal, a big end result. You can make a picture of it, you can draw it, you can write it, you can make a vision board, cut out photographs to remind you of what you want. And just, that is, you need to know where to go. I often think if you just set that as your goal, it's a bit like setting, we call them in Ireland, a sat-nav, a GPS system, whatever it is. When you set your sat-nav or your GPS system, you don't second guess it. You know that you're going to get there, but you listen for the calls. You listen to the turn left here or whatever. And even if you miss one of those and you go down the wrong road, you'll get another signal to turn around. And it's a bit like that. When you set that big intention, it's asking the universe, this is what I want. And then you need to be open. Listen to your intuition. And I'm good at helping people with that. Listen to your intuition, and you will know when you get the ideas. The big ideas come to you, and that is the sat-nav talking, giving you directions. And even if you take a route that you weren't sure of, you'll always get pulled back on course again. And an airplane doesn't go straight to its destination. It's always correcting course. So that is...
It's off course 95% of the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing, Glynnis. And if anybody would like to reach out to you, if anybody wants to hear more about Glynnis Trinder's wonderful work, how can they find you?
They can find me. My website is www.glynistrinder.com, and I'm on Facebook, Glynnis Trinder. I have my business page is The Art of Manifesting. I think
it's still there as The Art of Manifesting. We can put some links below the video here, so people can find it. That's wonderful, and I highly recommend you. Anybody check out Glynnis's incredible work. It's quite amazing. And I have felt so privileged to have a front seat of watching your incredible reinvention to success, Glynnis. And just before we wrap up, can I ask you, what is your version of success? What does success mean to you?
I think success to me, abundance is the word that comes to me. I love the word abundance, but it doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily mean a big pile of money for me. Now, I do think that money is important because you get to be able to you can do stuff when you have money, but it's about feeling abundant, feeling happy and grateful all the time, feeling just focused, being able to focus on what you want and the good things that are happening and be grateful for those. I think that is success, when you're feeling that life is really good. And it's also, I think Deepak Chopra, I heard him refer to it once as the continual realization of worthy goals. And just there's always going to be another goal. But success is the journey, really. Success is the way you look at the journey, the feelings of, bringing up your vibration to a positive vibration of gratitude, daily gratitude. I think, when you can feel like that, you're successful. It doesn't mean your bank account. It doesn't mean how tall, slim, gorgeous you are. It is how you feel every day, daily. And I think to be in a state of gratitude is just bliss.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Thank you so much, Glynnis. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank you.
Okay,
it's a pleasure.
Reinventing Success Sessions. Thank you very much. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.